Hey, what's going on? Welcome, Ryan Falkround here, settopacetriathlon.com, and we're doing a quick tip for the week, the day, whatever you want to call it. Talking triathlons, talking about socks. You need socks. And right now, I'm not wearing any socks. I'm kind of a sockless guy when I'm walking around the house, but I digress. So, do you need to wear socks in triathlons? It's kind of a big question. You watch the guys who've been doing it for a while. A lot of people go without socks. Even in a full Ironman, some people might go sockless. Now, once they get to the run, I've seen a lot of more experienced athletes. They'll go with socks and whatever. But we're going to go through a few different ideas about socks and maybe when to use them, when not to use them, and kind of the multifaceted world of socks in triathlons. So, number one, it's okay to wear socks. Don't think that you're any less of a triathlete or anything like that if you do wear socks. I wore socks. I still wear socks sometimes. It's not that big of a deal. If you wear socks, you're okay. It's okay not to wear socks. Now, it's okay, but you might end up with some blisters if you're not ready for it. So, either way, you're cool, and don't worry about looking the part or looking cool or whatever. If you need socks to make you comfortable, wear socks. It's not a big deal. Check if your bike or run shoes are meant to go without socks. There are specific brands that make their products, shoes and bike shoes, that are meant to go with and without socks. The fit is different, the materials are different, everything about them is different. The moisture wicking capacity of the shoes are different. So make sure that you're kind of doing a little bit of research on the products to see if they're actually meant to go with or without socks, because there is going to be a difference. It might fit differently if it's meant to go without socks and you get them for your size and you want to try to wear socks with them. It may not work out well. So just make sure that you're aware that certain products are made to go with or without socks. Now, if you're going to go without socks, or if you do, consider powder or lube to go with sockless. So, a lot of people swear by baby powder. It kind of helps dry everything out and makes everything less chafy. Personally, I don't use that if I go sockless. I've gotten used to the shoes that I do use for cycling and for running. Um, and personally, for me, I'll go without socks up to an Olympic distance. Once I get to a 70.3 or 4 Ironman distance, I use socks when I'm running. But consider something in there, even with socks. I'll use Aquaphor in T2 for Ironman distance races, and I'll put it in there when I'm getting the run. Usually at 70.3, I don't use anything. It's just I put socks on and go run with my shoes. Full Ironman distance, I put in some Aquaphor, or if it's going to be raining or if it's going to be hot, I'm going to pour a lot of water on myself. You want some lubrication in there because if your socks get wet in your shoes, it'll be rubbing around and cause you blisters. But if you don't go with socks, consider either baby powder or lube or something like that to kind of make it go a little bit smoother, a little bit easier. And that kind of goes to number 5 there. Socks may not bode well wet. So if you're going to be in a wet event, it's raining, or you're going to sweat a lot, or you're going to dump a lot of water on yourself to stay cool, you may want to consider maybe Aquaphor or something like that else in the socks to help lubricate everything so you don't end up with a bunch of blisters by the end of the race. One other thing to consider is if you go without socks, you're going to be barefoot in transition with no protection whatsoever. Now, I've been in some transitions where they have not swept the rocks off, and it is painful to walk across without any kind of protection whatsoever. You get your feet torn up, chip seal, all that kind of fun stuff. So that might be a consideration. You get there the race day and you see the transitions, less than perfect. You may want to put socks on, because if you are taking your shoes off and leaving them on the bike when you come into T2, and you're going to be running through, you need your socks or barefoot, you may want socks to kind of run over the concrete and the pavement. So just something to consider and think about. There, socks, there's tons of options out there. There's really thick socks, there's really thin socks. So you kind of have to look for what situation. There's cycling specific socks, there's running specific socks, there's socks that are cushioned on the sole, there's socks that are meant for people with fallen arches, there's socks that are meant for all kinds of different conditions and ailments and whatever. So if you're kind of wondering, it's like, well, a sock's a sock. Well, it's not. And you can find socks that kind of do different things for you. So maybe if you like to wear socks, there's options for you out there. There's tons of options out there for you, actually. So just be aware there's a lot of sock options out there if you want to wear them. Like I mentioned before, the race length may dictate if you wear socks or not. For me, a sprint, an Olympic distance, I usually don't wear socks for. Just because it takes too much time up in transition to put them on. And usually my local stuff, I'm kind of going for an age group placement. But once I get to a 70.3 or full Ironman distance, I like to wear socks, just because that's long enough that it causes a little bit of chafing. And the last thing I like to do is pull into the end of the race with bloody feet and blisters and all that kind of fun stuff. It's not comfortable, not fun to be able to walk around. So the length of the race definitely dictates if I'm doing socks or not. And if it's a standalone foot race, I'm always wearing socks. 13.1 miles, a full marathon, anything like that, 5K even, I'm wearing socks in my running shoes. So the length of the race, type of the race may dictate if you use socks or not. I can't say this enough. What you can do on race day to experiment with in training. I found out that one of my pairs of shoes I thought was meant to go without socks actually causes blisters and rubs in certain spots. It's very uncomfortable, causes all kinds of problems. I have to wear socks with them. I love the shoes. I love what they do for me, but they cause blisters and rubbing and chafing, especially if you're in a hurry and trying to put them on and you don't get them on exactly right. I need to wear socks with that. But in other circumstances, I've trained using socks and not using socks. I've been in a situation where I was down in my basement. I needed to do a quick treadmill run off the bike. I didn't want to go upstairs and go get socks or whatever, so I just put my shoes on, and lo and behold, they work pretty well without socks. So even after that, if I get downstairs and I'm stuck, I don't have to worry about it. Don't wear socks, and just make sure I'm using those shoes when I'm doing a race if I'm going without socks. So make sure in your training, your experiment, however you're going to do it, riding with socks, riding without socks, running with socks, running without socks, running in these types of shoes or these types of shoes. Try it in training and make sure you're ready for that. The last point is, kind of ties into the experiment training, don't experiment on race day. So if you get out there, don't go out there and just think, oh, well, I think for this race, I'm going to go ahead and try it without socks. And then get halfway through your run on Olympic distance and 3 miles in, you're bloody, you're blistered, and it's not very fun, and you don't want to finish it because it's painful. Try it in training, execute on race day, and don't deviate unless you've tried it in training. You know it works. Don't deviate to a different situation on race day. So with that, that's my quick tips. Hopefully they helped you out and you found this informational. If you did, give it a like. If you're seeing this on YouTube, give it a like, give it a subscribe. If you didn't like it, put it in the comments. What do you think I need to add? Did I miss anything? Any good points out there? With that, hopefully this helps you out. Happy training out there, and we'll see you guys out on the race course. Talk to you later.